Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing another foundation review for you, hoping that I'm going to help you in some way on the way to finding your Holy Grail foundation. So today it is the Guerlain Terracotta Joli Teint. I hope I'm saying that in the ballpark of correctly, but as you can see I have this tiny little samplet, let's say. So I have the shade Natural, which I think is a little bit light for me right now against my body. You can see my body is quite tan. I'm not sure how it's coming across on camera, but in the mirror in front of me, my face is definitely quite a bit lighter than my chest. So at the moment I'm about an NC30, so I would recommend going up one shade if you're around my skin tone, or if you're an NC25, this would be a perfect match for you. So the foundation itself, it comes in like a tube with a pump, which is really good. You get your standard 30 mils for a foundation. It has SPF 20 and it's £37 in the UK and $54 in the US. There's no longevity claim here. It just claims to be a really natural, sun-kissed mix of a foundation, skincare, and the bronzer, the Guerlain Terracotta bronzer. So that is what it's supposed to give you, is a sun-kissed, just got back from holiday, glowy, natural, like you've got no foundation on effect. There's no claim to coverage, so I'm not really sure how much coverage this is going to give me, but looking at the comments, it sounds like it's going to be like a medium, like a middle of the road medium coverage wise. So I guess let's get it on our face and have a look and see what we think. Okay, so let's get started. I obviously don't have the actual full-sized product because I've got my little sample pouches. This is what it would look like. So it's like a tube with a pump. So as always, I'm going to be priming my skin with my Stila One Step Corrector, because if you've watched any of my foundation reviews before, you'll know I like this stuff for reviews because it doesn't alter the foundation. It just, your standard primer just gives you a really nice base for foundation, but it doesn't make it more matte or more glowy. It's not amazingly smoothing or anything like that. It's just giving us a nice base. So it's giving us primed skin to work with, because I would always use a primer when I put foundation on, so that's only fair, but it's not going to like alter the finish of the foundation. So we can see how it performs by itself. Okay, so the sachet opened a lot easier than I was anticipating, and there is quite a lot of product in there, as you can see. It is moving just as I'm holding it up, but it isn't the most liquidy foundation. It's kind of like a medium consistency, and I'm getting, as soon as I opened that packet, I was like hit by that beautiful Guerlain fragrance. So it is very perfumey. So yeah, if fragrance bothers you, then that's something to note. Now, because I have never used this before, I am going to do half of my face with my M439 and half with my Beauty Blender, because I don't know which will work better. So I'm just going to start with my brush and see how we get on. Oh, okay. So this is definitely going to do my whole face, because that's going quite a long way. And the smell is very noticeable. That is quite a nice match for me. So this is the shade Natural, which is the shade that I am in the Lingerie de Peau, which is one of my favourite foundations, and that is all up in my hair. Perfect. So that's gone on really quickly, and that has done, like, I mean, this would probably the amount that I've put on there, which was just one dunk. You can see there's still a ton left on there, and that has done easily half of my face. It's going in really quickly and not having huge issues. Just around the hairline, taking a little bit more buffing, and it has covered a lot of redness and a lot of discoloration, which I wasn't expecting. I was thinking it was going to have like no coverage whatsoever and just be a bit more glowy, but it really has covered a significant amount, so that is impressive. At the moment it's still probably a light to medium coverage, I would say. But it has taken away a lot of my uneven like redness and texture, if you can see it compared to this side. It is glowy, but it isn't crazy dewy, even though obviously it's not fully dried down yet. So that's a really nice natural finish. It does definitely look like nothing, but it has covered nicely. So let's now go with the Beauty Blender. You just need so little product. It's going so far, even with the sponge, which you would expect to soak up. So I'm not really noticing much difference between the sponge and the brush, to be honest. It didn't really get stolen so much as some foundations can by my Beauty Blender. It was maybe a bit quicker with the Beauty Blender, but I think I was just going in a bit heavy because I thought I was going to need a lot more than I did. But it's still gone in really quickly, given that I used way too much product. So much so that I've coloured in all my hair. You can still see there's plenty left, but so I could build this up, but I just really don't feel like it needs building up at all. That's now like a really nice medium coverage, and I don't feel the need to keep, you know, building it up and up. So you really don't need a huge amount of product. So before I put anything else on my face, I'm just going to take a quick flash photo and see how it works with flashback. There's definitely a bit of flashback happening. It's not the worst I've ever seen, but with SPF 20, you would expect that. This is obviously very much like a daytime or holiday type of foundation, I would guess. Given that, you know, it's lighter weight, it's very natural, it's very bronzy, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, let's have a little close-up look. Okay, so it is like really nice and glowy, and you can see how natural it is. Like, it still really looks like skin, and it has matched me fairly well. It's probably a bit lighter than my body, but it is a good match for like my face and my neck at the moment. It probably isn't as bronzy. I was thinking it was going to be like give me a tan, which it definitely hasn't, but I am just looking really healthy and glowy and natural and fresh, and it's really not massively emphasizing any texture. I wouldn't say it's particularly smoothing. Like, you can see, you know, my texture around my chin is still very much showing, and it has really sunk into my smile lines already, increased in there. No issues in a little funny spots around my nose or on the tip of my nose. Really smooth application, even though I definitely went in a bit heavy-handed with the amount that I used. So that's really good. It's really easy to apply, really quick to apply, really smooth. I can still slightly smell the fragrance, so it is really on the fragrance side. It's a lovely fragrance, but if you don't like fragrance, then this won't be for you. Okay, so that is the rest of my makeup done. I didn't have any issues. It hasn't moved. I've used the NARS liquid blush today over the top, and that hasn't disturbed it in any way. So I feel like if anything was gonna, that was gonna. I also did a bit of cream contour today, and that hasn't had any issues. None of my powders. I didn't set it with powder before, like going ham with my bronzer, and that didn't move it. I just want to leave it to see how it lasts by itself. So the time is currently 12. That was, I mean, awkward. But it's it's 12:30. So I'm going to give this the usual 8 hours as a minimum. There's no huge claim on this. It's not claiming to be 24-hour wear. It doesn't even say it's long wearing. So I'll be interested to see how it does last in that 8 hours. And how we get on. So yeah, I will see you in a few. Bye bye for now. So we are back, and it is now 9:30, nearly 9:30. So we're about 9 hours post me putting this foundation on, and I have enjoyed it. I've sort of been just keeping an eye on it throughout the day, you know, whenever I go in and out of the bathroom or past the mirror. I've just been kind of having a look from a distance to see how I feel about it, and it has looked really, really nice. I've really noticed how luminous it looks, and it has looked really like glowy and tanned and fresh, just like all of the claims. I haven't noticed anything massively weird. I've just had a really good close-up look now. From this distance, obviously you can see my blush, my highlight, my bronzer, everything is still fully on, which is really, really good sign. So let's have a close-up look now and see what might be hiding on a bit more of a zoom. So you can see a little bit of fading just here on my chin, which is where I generally always start to fade once the fading comes, and my nose is starting to slightly break down. And then the biggest problem for me is my forehead. Now I have normal skin with a slightly oily T-zone, and this is not a sort of normal scenario. For me, that is like as oily as I would get, especially after like 9 hours. It is a decent amount of time, don't get me wrong, but yeah, it's not like forever, so therefore I wouldn't expect my forehead to be this oily after 9 hours, because my forehead never really gets that oily. So that's one to bear in mind if you do have oily skin, that this probably isn't going to be for you. So my nose area is held up really well. It has just come off slightly on the corner there, which is, as you know, like kind of the area we lose our foundation from. Under here, which is obviously just foundation, it didn't set with powder, looks pretty good. When I look really mega close up in the mirror, I can see that it is starting to break down. Like there's just areas where it's starting to go a bit patchy, but nothing crazy is happening. Like it isn't sort of clogging or, you know, like clumping up or anything like that. Anything weird that's really, really obvious to anyone other than me when I'm looking at point blank range. So to be fair, for a foundation that has not claimed to be long wearing, this is pretty good. You know, 9 hours is about what you want for like the working day, so I think this would be absolutely fine for that. If you had very oily skin, I would definitely give it a sample before investing, because like I said, it has made me a bit oily on my forehead and I'm not an oily skin type. So yeah, I've really liked it. I don't think for me I would purchase it, because to be fair to it, it is a nice foundation, but it is that really high-end price-wise. £37, $54 is a really expensive foundation, and at that price point, I prefer my Dior foundations or my Armani Luminous Silk that are around that same price point. This for me is on a par with more like the Estee Lauder Double Wear Nude or the Urban Decay One and Done, which are considerably less money for a very similar product. I would say that sort of light to medium coverage, a high SPF, really nice natural finish. Those foundations would give you the same for much less money. So for me, it's not going to be a purchase. I have enjoyed it, I have liked it, have got on pretty well with it, but it's not gonna gazump any of the foundations I already have that I love, that are my favorites. So that is everything I have to tell you about this foundation. I hope you've enjoyed this review, or you found it useful. If you have tried the foundation, I'd love to know how you got on with it down in the comments below. Otherwise, I will see you next time, I hope. Bye bye for now.